Brett, think about what we talked about," he said. He looked at me and nodded before going back into his office and closing the door. The plaque on it read, Marcus Varos, and under that, Principal. So at least I knew that my old principal, Mrs. King, was gone. Mrs. Bayless tapped at her computer, then printed something and signed it. She handed the paper to the boy. "I've said this before, but I hope this is the last one of these I have to sign for you, Brett." The boy looked at her for a second, then sighed.
"Whatever."
He brushed past me and pushed through the door, letting it slam behind him. "Sorry about that, Franny. Now, what can I do for you?" Mrs. Bayless asked. "I'm here to see Veronica Underwood," I said. She and Mrs. Crawford exchanged a glance. "It's about selling some refreshments during the school play?" "Of course, dear. Just sign in right there, and I'll print you out a name tag," Mrs. Bayless said, gesturing at a clipboard on the edge of her desk. "I understand Veronica is the drama teacher?" I asked as I wrote my information on the form. Something about that look between them made me wonder if there was something they knew that I didn't. "Yes, dear. She took over from Gwen Blarney this year. But I don't think Gwen was here when you were, was she?" I thought for a second. "The name doesn't ring a bell." I smiled, but it took me a minute to recognize your name, too. "I think Ann Crowsdale would have been the drama teacher back when Franny was here," Mrs. Crawford said. "Ah, yes, that's right," Mrs. Bayless said. "She only teaches English classes now, but she still co-directs the play. Are you meeting with her, too?" "I'm not sure. I was just told to ask for Veronica." "Why am I not surprised?" Mrs. Crawford muttered. "Alice?" Mrs. Bayless said sharply, then smiled at me. "Veronica has been trying very hard to make her way here, and it's rubbed a few of the staff the wrong way. We get used to things being a certain way, you know. Even when someone has the best of intentions, it can be hard to adapt to new ways." "I certainly understand," I said, and smiled back at her. I was getting the sense that there was more to it than she was telling me, but couldn't imagine that it was anything I needed to get involved with. I was just there to work out the details of selling some coffee and baked goods. I didn't need to concern myself with school politics. "Here you go, dear," Mrs. Bayless said, handing me the sticky-backed name tag she'd printed out with my name on it. "You don't need us to keep you here prattling on. You remember where the drama room is. It's straight down the hall and down the ramp. You'll go through 2 sets of double doors and then turn left." "Thank you very much," I said. "It was nice seeing you again." I made my way out of the office and down the hall. The school had been renovated and added on to at least once since I graduated, but it still felt like the same place. And I didn't know how, but it even smelled the same. Either the old building just had that distinctive odor, or the aroma of teenagers and school lunches hadn't changed much over the years. The drama room was right where I remembered. The door was open, so I poked my head in. "Veronica? It's Ms. Underwood, and you need to knock." I was startled for a second, but then realized she must have thought I was a student. I stepped into the room. "I'm sorry. I'm Francesca Amaro from Antonia's Italian Cafe. I'm scheduled to meet with you." She looked up from her desk with unmasked irritation on her face. "This is my planning period. You need to ask before you come into my classroom." "I'm sorry," I repeated. "May I come in?" She waved her hand at one of the desks and looked back down at the papers in front of her. I started to pull the desk closer to hers, but she stopped me. "Leave it where it is. It took me a long time to get this room set up, and I don't appreciate people messing it up." I pushed the desk back into place and sat down, not wanting to risk irritating her further. I decided to wait until she was finished with whatever she was looking at. Apparently, I decided wrong. "Well," she said a few seconds later without looking up. I took a deep breath and tried to remind myself that teaching is a stressful job. This woman dealt with hormonal teenagers all day, and it was probably enough to make anyone a little testy. All I needed to do was stay calm and be reasonable, and she'd probably warm up to me in a few minutes. And it wasn't as if she was the first less-than-friendly person I'd ever dealt with. In my former life as a public relations representative, I dealt with more than a